Hello everyone, welcome back to Survivor Talks with Mike. Today we'll be covering Survivor 42, Episode 10. I'm feeling a little sick, so I'm going to try to get through this pretty quickly. We'll start right from the beginning on the recap. We open up to them returning to camp. The first group has just voted out Roxroy. Mike felt like he was pressured into doing it, and Omer tries to lean into that, even though he wanted Roxroy out, by saying that he also felt a little pressured into it and doesn't like that Mike felt that way. The others return and tell them Tori is now gone. Drea says that she's going to continue to play as hard as she can now after needing to use her idol in the last tribal council. Lindsay and Omer talk about how Jonathan has been hard to work with, and Lindsay doesn't feel like she can rely on Jonathan anymore, so she starts looking for the idol, but doesn't find it. Marianne, however, does find it. This one she plans on keeping a secret. We go to the reward challenge where Lindsay wins and takes Omer and Mike to be in a warm, dry place and have pizza. Back at camp, Romeo has been finding it hard. He's kind of out of the loop on everything. They have to rebuild their roof on their shelter because of how much rain there's been. And Hai doesn't find this experience as hard as his life was growing up, so he's still striving right now. Him and Lindsay discuss voting out Jonathan. We then see at the reward, they get a message and pictures from home. Mike and Omer are very thankful to Lindsay for bringing them for that experience. Mike's wife says he needs to keep doing what he does best, which is winning, which I thought might be a hint for him winning in the future, but they might have shown that anyway since they showed all of their messages. All three of them bond. Omer tells Mike that Hai had told him that Mike is his puppet, which is a lie, but it's a good lie since Mike was already kind of feeling that way about Hai and completely buys into it. Lindsay tells both of them about her, Drea, and Hai's amulet, and that it will get stronger if they vote out Hai. At the immunity challenge, Lindsay wins, just edging out Jonathan. Hai wants to go for Jonathan because he sees how Jonathan's either won or been second place in all of the immunity challenges. Jonathan shows everyone his monkey run, which is completely inconsequential, but I wanted to point it out because I think it's his attempt to try to win over some people socially. And it just seems like such a weird way to go about doing that. Everyone else is going for Hai. It's Omer's move, but everyone seems to feel like it's their plan. Like even Jonathan gets a confessional where he says like this would be a big move for him to get out Hai right now, even though it's really not his move at all. Lindsay still wants Jonathan, but since everyone else is so clearly going for Hai, she doesn't want to rock the boat. The plan came together so easily that Omer thinks that maybe he should switch it to Jonathan, which I don't think would be a bad idea because they get rid of the competition, and I think Hai's still going to be a person you could get out down the road easily if you need to. At Tribal Council, Lindsay talks about the low lows and the crazy highs, and the camera flips over to Hai when she says crazy highs, which I thought was kind of funny. I don't know if that was on purpose or just coincidental. They talk about leveling the playing field, sort of hinting at it being Jonathan, but they talk about different types of power. A challenge beast, and Jonathan is shown, a strategic player, where Mike is shown, and a social player where Omer is shown. I think you could probably flip around the last two there, Omer and Mike. They've both played very good social games, I'd say, but I'd say Omer's the more strategic one. They vote, and it ends up with Hai voted out 5-2 with Romeo on the wrong side of the vote. Hai takes the blind side really well and is happy they pulled the wool over him so well, which tells me that I don't think he's going to be a bitter juror. So my thoughts on Hai: I think Hai was fun, but he played too hard too fast and got outplayed by Omer, which I think is something we will say about a lot of players by the end of the season. Otherwise, I really enjoyed Hai during his time on the show, and I think he could have easily came out on top if a few things had been done differently. My review for this episode: this felt like a classic old school episode. The vote out did feel very obvious, but I don't think that hurt the episode in any way, since we got to fully understand how everyone turned on Hai. It was also really nice to see some more from Lindsay in this episode. My one complaint is that we got follow-up from the Roxroy boot, but not really anything from the Tori boot, which felt like a much more impactful tribal council. My score for episode 10 is an 8.5 out of 10. My predictions: this episode did help move Lindsay up a bit as a contender, but I do still have her slightly on the outside along with her amulet partner Drea. I think one of those two will make it to the final four, and the other one might be out either next week or the week after. Omer has just continued to solidify his position at the top, but that could come crumbling down as soon as anyone catches on to his game. Marianne also got a little bit stronger by finding an idol, but I believe next week we'll have the do or die twist return from last season, and I could very easily see Marianne being the one who loses out due to that. Mike is slowly falling. He did get sort of played like a puppet by Omer, but I don't know that that really hurts him if he makes it to the end. I think people like him enough that he would still have a pretty good chance of winning, as long as he's sat next to anyone other than Omer. Jonathan and Romeo at this point, I don't see winning at all, though they could both make it to the end still. That's all I got for this episode. I tried to keep it quick. If you like this, please hit like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and keep coming back every week.